Hey, kiddos, it's the Super No Spoilers Super Show. We're the No Spoilers, and reviewing's our game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. Wanna know about a movie? Does it stink or is it groovy? We're better than the Whalers. You'll be hooked on No Spoilers. Excelsior! Hooked on No Spoilers. Don't go spoiling it.
It was really good. Lots of Easter eggs. Definitely a fan movie. It's a kids movie for sure. Do not go in expecting Hamlet. Very cute plot. I love the friendship. Very adorable. Very cute. Very cute.
And Walker?
I liked it, and I liked it, and it had a good plot to it. Like, it had a lot of good Easter eggs, like about a bunch of games and stuff. And I really like the actors. And like it was just really cute.
Okay.
Yes, great
So
voice acting.
So, what didn't you like about it?
What didn't I like about it? That's hard. There wasn't much that I didn't like about it.
That's good. Now,
I wish it was longer.
Okay. Now, Walker.
I didn't like how they changed the voices.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, understandable.
Okay, that's fair. Now, you don't have to agree. You can disagree. You don't have to like it all. All right. Here's the tough one. All right. Here we go. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 or the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Super Mario Bros.
Uh-oh.
Spice and Sonic.
What? Why'd you despise Sonic? He's gonna zip by and beat you up at night when you go to bed at night.
I'm disappointed in you. That's gonna be hard for me, but
I like the Sonic movie though. Like I like the Sonic movie, and I like how like the actor of Sonic was one of the actors in like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I'd rather choose that than Super Mario Bros.
Oh, okay.
I'm also gonna say Super Mario Bros. I think it just had a lot more detail and attention to detail and attention to quality as well. So I'm gonna say Super Mario.
All right. Get ready. Because Sonic's gonna come by. He's mad. He's gonna come by and run by and hit you. You're not gonna even know. You're not gonna even see it. Hey everyone, it's your old Uncle Padrino back from watching the Super Mario Brothers movie with a couple of friends here. Okay, first let's set them up and get them all set up here. There's Toad and there's Luigi, and of course, there's Mario. All right, now, I need to apologize to you for a bit. First, if you hear some noise outside, that's because someone's cutting the yard, and, well, you're going to hear some stuff out there, all right? So, please excuse the noise. Okay, now, before I warped in with my friends here, those were the guy kiddos talking about the movie and giving their opinions about the movie. Now, as I said before, I'm not holding them hostage and trying to get ransom or anything like that. I'm not bribing them or anything, okay? Those are their honest opinions, which is a good thing in this case because the movie is geared towards kids. It is geared towards fans as well, and I'll get to all of that in a little bit. But it's good to have that perspective of a kid as far as this movie goes, because some of you watching or may have kids or the kids that you have may be watching this along with you, and that's fine. But it's good to have that perspective, well, of a kid's idea of this movie. Well, one is a teenager and one is a kid. So, but anyway, let's talk about the history of the main character here, Mario. Now, if you don't want to know all of that, that's fine. I have no issue with that. Skip ahead. The timestamps are in the timeline below, so you can skip ahead if you want to. But I want to do this. All right. Now, it all began in the beginning. There was Donkey Kong. All right. And Donkey for stubborn and Kong for King Kong. And in a King Kong-esque type manner, Donkey Kong kidnaps a young lady named Pauline and takes her to the top of some steel girders and keeps her there. And a spunky young man named, well, he didn't have a name at the time, but he was called Jumpman, who was a carpenter, by the way, which is why he's there to begin with. So His job is to get up to the top to save Pauline from Donkey Kong. All right? Now, the name Mario didn't come around until a little bit later while the game was out. All right? He was named after the landlord, I think Shigeru Miyamoto, the guy who created Mario and several of the Nintendo franchises that we know and love today, in the building that Shigeru Miyamoto stayed in, I think. It's something like that to that extent. I'll have to look it up. You'll have to look it up as well. So, jump ahead to the sequel, Donkey Kong Jr. Now, our hero has become villain, has turned, our baby face has become heel now, all right, as they say in wrestling. Now, Mario is the villain, and this is where we get our introduction to Luigi in a sense, not by name, but by character, because at the beginning of Donkey Kong Jr., there's Mario, and then there's a lookalike, a twin. So we don't know what his name is, but we just know they're dressed alike. There's no differentiations between the two. We just know that there's basically two Marios. All right, but they're hauling Donkey Kong up in a cage and to a top platform, and it's up to Donkey Kong's son, Donkey Kong Jr., to go up to the top and rescue his papa. All right, now, go to Donkey Kong 3. I guess Mario decided to take a break, or he was down on his luck or something, who knows. But he's absent from this game. Instead, in his place is a man named Stanley, and he's an exterminator. Now, that game is weird, and I think a lot of people don't like it or just finds it weird. I love that game even as a kid, and I still do now, just because it's different. It's just like weird. But Stanley is an exterminator, and as Stanley, you have to spray bug spray up of Donkey Kong's crotch and butt to get him to move up. There's something about getting to the top, right? To move up, to drop the beehives, to keep the bees from coming out and stealing the plants that Stanley is guarding in this greenhouse, all right? Now, jump to Mario Brothers, the regular Mario Brothers, not Super, but the regular Mario Brothers. This is their first game together, where they're both playable, I should say. And now we actually get a name for Mario's brother, which is Luigi. And there's some differentiations between the two as well. Mario's red and blue, and Luigi's green and blue. And I still remember the commercial to this very day. Something's gumming up the plumbing, pull Luigi's in the buying, killer turtles out to get them, giant crabs are right behind. I didn't watch a YouTube video. That's been stuck up here since the 80s. I don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but I remember this stuff, okay? So, in this game, they're plumbers, all right? Now, and this is where we get the introduction of Luigi, but we also get the introduction of what would later be called the Koopa Troopas in the Mushroom Kingdom in Super Mario Brothers. They're called shell shockers in this game. And it's so funny to watch people who play this game, who never knew about this game and never played it before, watch them try to play this game, because their first instinct is what? To go up top and stomp on the turtle to kill it, or to do away with it, rather. But that's not how it works, and they end up getting killed instead. But it's actually kind of funny in a sense. And now we get to Super Mario Brothers. Now they're in the Mushroom Kingdom, and Bowser's kidnapped Princess Toadstool. Her name wasn't Princess Peach at the time, it was Princess Toadstool. And now they have to save her and the Mushroom Kingdom from Bowser. And the rest is history, as they say. And now you know the rest of the story. Good day. No, but as far as that all goes, that was basically the entire history of how this all built up to what it was. Mario, as a character, has had many jobs over the generations. I mean, when you think about it, he was a carpenter, he was a kidnapper, an ape-napper, I should say. He was a plumber. He's a doctor. He's a ref in a boxing ring, and he's a competitive fighter. So I mean, it almost seems like, and he's a kart racer. I forgot, and he plays tennis, and he plays soccer. I mean, there's nothing that this man can't do, basically, and that's good. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, as far as the story goes, look. There have been critics that have been saying about this movie, look, this movie, as far as the story goes, it's not deep or anything like that. There's no explanation or anything. But they do tie up some loose ends in this story, and they do give some explanation to some things. I think it's just not the way that they think they should, I guess. Oh, and that was another thing. Mario was a part of a wrecking crew as well in one of the video games. I forgot to mention that. So there's another spot on his resume that he can have filled in. So, but as far as the story goes, it's simple. I mean, some of these critics are expecting Shakespeare. They're expecting Citizen Kane, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. That's not what this is. This is a movie geared towards kids. Not to say that all animated movies are geared towards kids. They're geared towards different types of people. All right? And that's what this movie, it plays it safe, makes things simple. And another complaint is it's a 100% fan service, as it should be. This is for the fans. All right? I mean, there's a reason why this franchise exists for so long, because of fans keeping an interest in it and still, enjoying the product, so there isn't anything wrong with that. One of the things I like about this movie, as far as the story goes, there was a little animated movie back in the early 2000s called TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was animated, and I don't know if it's considered a failure or a success, but a lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't. I mean, and understandably so. I know why. I liked the movie, actually. But one of the things that I liked about the movie is it didn't hold your hand. It wasn't going to go through they expected you to have some form of connection or some form of contact with the Turtles, right? Whether it's through the cartoons, whether it's through the video games, whether it's through the comic books, whether it was through the live action movies that came before it. They expected you. They didn't hold your hand, so they didn't have to go through all of that. Same thing with when Spider-Man entered the MCU. They didn't kill Uncle Ben again. It's like, look, you already know the story. We're not going to go through that again and retell that story all over again. Here he is. He's going to do his thing. That's it. And this is what the Mario Brothers movie is. Look, you had to have had some contact with Nintendo or Mario in some form or fashion at some point in your life, whether you're a gamer or not. So they're not going to hold your hand through this. They expect you to know and to keep up. That's it. If you don't know it, you know what? Go do some research. Go play the games. Go watch the shows, things like that, yada, yada, yada. All right? So that's one of the things that I really, really, really admire about the story of this game. And let's be honest, the trailers already basically revealed what the story is all about in this movie anyway. I said game earlier, didn't I? I meant movie. But the trailers already revealed everything. And as the song goes, the Mario Brothers plumbing their game, found a secret warp zone, working on a drain, right? Kind of happened that way in this, but not completely like that, but somewhat similar. But the story, you already know what happens, basically. So, and that's not a complaint, mind you, not from me anyway. There isn't anything wrong with that. One is something simple, something to have fun with. This story isn't too complex or anything. It's just, look, here it is, enjoy it. You play you're watching the video game as it's being played out almost in a sense, with cutscenes in a sense. Okay, so now, well, let me mention this first before I go on to the next topic as well. This movie doesn't have a message in it as well, and it's the same way as Puss in Boots' Last Wish. And that's going to be kind of the standard that I'm going to be kind of holding some movies to from this point on, maybe even Top Gun Maverick. But that's what one of the things that I enjoy about this movie as well is that there's no messaging in it. It teaches you life lessons. There are 3 life lessons that I got from this movie, and it's not being spoon-fed to you. It's not being forced upon you, and it doesn't apply to certain groups of people. It applies for everyone. Doesn't matter who or what you are. And I love that. That was a great thing about this movie as well. And as far as the story goes. All right. So to me, I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a very positive thing. It's just fun. You get a little life lesson and you enjoy it and go on about your day. All right. Now, let's get to the mushroom in the room. Get it? Huh? You're laughing. I know it. You're laughing. You're smiling right now. You know it's a good joke. I hear you laughing and see you laughing. You just don't know I do. But anyway, as far as the issue of voices go, Chris Pratt, as far as Mario goes, and look, here's the thing, and I didn't realize it until after I saw the movie. This was marketing genius on the part of the studios, all right? And the reason I say that is because remember when the cast was announced last year, or a little bit, yeah, I think it was last year. But remember when the cast of the movie was announced, right? Everybody's going, Chris Pratt? Why Chris Pratt? Why is he voicing Mario? I mean, that doesn't seem right. And and even me, I was kind of like raising the eyebrow a little bit, going, wait a minute. It's like, huh? Oh, and I kind of went, okay, well, let's see what he can do. All right. And then when the trailers are released later on, several months later, we still don't get a good idea of what Chris Pratt sounds like, all right, as the character. Now we get a little bit here and there, but it still sounds like him. But it's still not enough to judge for a lot of people, and me in particular anyway. And so they built this FOMO mentality within the fans and within people to go, I gotta go see this movie just to see how Chris Pratt is gonna sound as Mario. He's a titular character in this movie. I gotta hear how he sounds. I mean, and look, and we all know Charles Martinet, who has 2 cameos in this movie, by the way, be sure to listen for them. Charles Martinet has been the voice of Mario for the better part of 30 years now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that's in video games, though. Outside of video games, here's a little trivia bit for you. There was a little cartoon show that 2 of my best friends and I, who grew up together, used to watch on Saturday mornings, called Saturday Supercade, which was a cartoon show that featured cartoons of the popular video games at the time. So there was Frogger, there was Q*bert, there was Pitfall Harry, there was Donkey Kong, there was Donkey Kong Jr., and in season 2, they added Kangaroo and Space Ace. All right? And so Donkey Kong, in the Donkey Kong segment of the show, the first person to give Mario a voice was Peter Cullen. Now, you know who Peter Cullen is. You know him and you love him. He's the voice of Optimus Prime. He was the original voice of Ironhide as well. He also did a stint as Eeyore in the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. He also shared the role of Monterey Jack with Jim Cummings in the original Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. He did several voices for the original DuckTales as well. So he was the voice of Mario. I think he was the voice of Donkey Kong too in that show. I have to look it up to be sure. But he was the first to give Mario a voice. And here's another little trivia tidbit for you. Frank Welker was the voice of Donkey Kong Jr. in the Donkey Kong Jr. segment of the show. So Frank Welker, if you don't know him, and I've mentioned him many times, he was the original voice of Megatron and several other characters in Transformers. He's done so many voices for characters throughout his entire life. He still is the voice of Fred from Scooby-Doo. He also does Scooby-Doo's voice now since the original voice actor Don Messick passed away. And everybody may know him even more so from Futurama because he does the speaking voice and the animal voice for Nibbler, and he did the barking and the whining for the emoting for Seymour, Fry's dog. And so Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, you know, they're friends in some shows, they're enemies in other shows, so they're like frenemies, I guess. So anyway, and then we had, of course, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, where WWF superstar Captain Lou Albano and celebrity actor Danny Wells played both Mario and Luigi, both in voice and in the live-action segments of the show. That's the most popular version of what people hear as Mario and Luigi back then, anyway. So, as far as Chris Pratt goes, I think the whole point in this movie, and not whole point in this movie, but the whole point of keeping the voice under wraps as much as they did was to get more people to watch the movie. It's genius. I mean, and Chris Pratt, honestly, he does a pretty good job. I mean, I actually kind of like it. I mean, Charles Martinet's voice for Mario is high, slightly higher. Woohoo, let's go, and Chris Pratt's voice is just slightly lower. So I mean, it actually works. I mean, I was actually convinced that it was Mario and not Chris Pratt. What's his name? Michael Peel, I think, of Key and Peele. He's the voice of Toad. Excellent. What's the young lady's name? Taylor Joy. I just know her last name is that. As Princess Peach, she does a good job as well. But the breakout star in all of this is Jack Black as Bowser. Oh my God. I mean, when you listen to him speak as Bowser, I mean, even in the trailers, everybody's minds were blown, and mine too was like, oh my God, that's good. That was an excellent choice for Bowser. And Bowser does have his own voice in the video games as well, but he primarily laughs and growls and breathes fire, things like that. So you get emotion from all of that. He just doesn't speak. But in this is the first time. Well, in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, I can't remember the actor's name. He's a Canadian actor who voiced King Koopa in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World cartoons as well. But he's the first to give King Koopa a voice. I can't remember his name. I'll post it up there. But anyway, but as far as Jack Black goes, I mean, you don't even know that it's him. I mean, he's changed his voice so well in this. It's amazing. And so you have one of the things that I liked about this. I had a voice actor friend. I mean, we don't know each other personally or hang out or anything like that. I mean, but I said something and he said something in passing when I made a comment on social media about voice actors, about celebrity voice actors. And they said to me in a response, they said they had a friend who was a voice director, and oftentimes when celebrities come into these places and for these roles, they actually want to do something creative with their voice and do something different. And they actually ask and say, look, I have an idea for this character, for the voice of this character. Can I try it, or let me try it out? And oftentimes it's usually the producers that veto it and say, no, we want you. We want your voice. So it's nice that Illumination gave Chris Pratt and Michael Peel and Jack Black the freedom to change their voice and do something different. I mean, they actually are perfect for the part. Charlie Day is Luigi, and but he's using his regular voice. Taylor Joy is Princess Peach, but she's using her regular speaking voice. Seth Rogen. I'm sorry, not Seth Green. Wrong Seth. Seth Rogen I forgot to mention, is Donkey Kong, and that's actually the real mushroom in the room. Actually, man. If you know me on social media, I really don't care much for Seth Rogen. I mean, to me, I think he's overrated. I never thought he was really that funny. But if people like him, hey, that he's their cup of tea, he's not my cup of tea. Okay, fine. No problem here. No complaints about it here. But he's using his regular speaking voice, and I'm indifferent about the guy, obviously, but to an extent, I can see why they chose him, because he seems to fit. He has the personality that fits their version of Donkey Kong, basically, and so it fits. But I at the same time, it's like I still don't kind of see him sounding like that. But at the moment, I can't think of anyone who could possibly take his place that would sound better. So Seth Rogen is in it. I mean, and he's not too annoying. I mean, he doesn't even have his goofy laugh in it. But he does have somewhat of a laugh, so I mean, that's there. But overall, the cast isn't really bad. I mean, if anything, the negative is probably Seth Rogen to an extent. It's not a full negative, but it's worth mentioning. Okay. there are other voice actors in this as well. Professional voice actors. Kari Payton, who plays Cyborg in Teen Titans Go, and Aqualad in Young Justice. Phil Lamar, who plays Samurai Jack, and Green Lantern John Stewart and Static Shock, and so many other characters. Kawasa Razaki, who plays Rocco in Rocco's Modern Life, and Laszlo in Camp Laszlo, and he plays Mr. Crocker on Fairly Odd Parents, Fairies. And he also, well, I shouldn't say he also, but he played Ricochet in a show called Mucha Lucha as well. So there's also Scott Menville, who plays Robin in Teen Titans Go, and who plays Zack in Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, the animated series, as well as Red Herring on The Pup Named Scooby-Doo. You also have John DiMaggio, who of course plays Bender, and several other characters in other shows, who plays Jake in Adventure Time as well. And you have Eric Bauza in this as well, who is the voice of many of the Looney Tunes, who's the current voice of many of the Looney Tune characters, and who plays lots of other classic characters like Woody Woodpecker and things like that as well, and plus new characters as well. Good guy. So there are a lot of voices to listen for and a lot of names to look for in this movie as well. Now, I do want to bring up something about the animation. Now, I know this is your traditionally animated, CG animated movie, and as I mentioned before in the past, that many of the animated movies, they all basically look alike. Now, you can't distinguish either of them from one another from either company now at this point. The only ones that you can are the ones who are using the new program, what's it called? It's called Moonlighting or Moon Racer, something like that. It's Moon something. I'll look it up again. But that's the program that was used to do the bad guys, Puss in Boots, and probably, and maybe that's a different program that they use for Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and probably a different program that's being used in the Mitchells versus the Machines and the Peanuts movie as well. So, but as far as this movie goes, I have to talk about the animation because, man, Nintendo must have really let them dig through their archives, or the animators must have really studied the games, because the way the characters move are just like their video game counterparts. I mean, when you see Mario run, it's like, he's running in the more recent games. My boobs are bouncing. Don't send money, send bras. I think about an A cup. So, but as far as the way the characters move in this movie, I almost said game, in this movie is excellent. I mean, if you played any of the recent Mario games, you'll see it. All right. There are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie as well. Again, that's just why it's 100% fan service, as it should. Well, it better be 100% fan service. Let's put it that way. Tons of Easter eggs, from the sound effects, from the musical cues, to the background, everything that's in the background, anything and everything that you see and hear in this movie, you can point it back to a Mario game somewhere in within Nintendo's history. Nintendo's been around for 100 years, okay, and they did have a heavy hand in this, as they should. It's their property. They trusted Hollywood before in the past, and look what happened. We got the Super Mario Brothers movie where John Leguizamo is being a baby and he needs his bottle now. And well, it's stupid to say, well, there's no Latino representation. The young lady, Taylor Joy, is a Latina. She's from Argentina. Kawasa Razaki is a Latino. Fred Armisen, I think that's his name, but he's from Saturday Night Live. He's Latino. He plays Cranky Kong in this movie. Another little trivia bit, as far as the Donkey Kong Country games go, that were made by Rare. Supposedly, Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong that Mario battled when he was rescuing Pauline, basically, which is one of those things that wasn't really explained in the movie, which, again, that's going down too deep down into a rabbit hole. I understand that. So, but as far there's references to everything that's Nintendo and everything that's Mario. You have to keep a keen eye and ear out both for all of it. Okay, so as far as this movie goes, yes, the animation isn't groundbreaking. The story isn't Hamlet. It's a great movie. It's fun. It's fun for the family to go see together. It's fun to just watch and just enjoy. It's fun for the fans. It's fun for the kids. It's just a fun movie all around. Go watch this movie, okay? Go see it once. Go see it twice. Go see it 3 times, the lady. And give it your money. Full price admission, okay? As of this recording, they already broke even. Anything that they make beyond this now is all profit strictly for them, which is awesome. All right. And if things continue to go well, from my understanding, from some of the from some of the YouTubers that I listen to and some of the blogs that I read who have sources within sources, there's something bigger coming along. All right. So, again, Nintendo had a heavy hand in this, and they know what they're doing. Trust them on this. They wouldn't just let anyone do their characters wrong, all right? I mean, Nintendo is very protective of their characters. They're very Japanese as well. It is a Japanese company, by the way. So trust them with this, and trust Illumination, the company that made this movie, on this. Shigeru Miyamoto is one of the producers of this show, so he had a heavy hand in it, which is great. And I think I see nothing wrong with that. All right. If you have issues with it, it's dumb issues. You know, like John Leguizamo, he just wants attention. Let the baby have the bottle, and send him off and stop paying attention to him. Maybe he won't come back. All right. So, I have Stan back. He's back from where he was. Great rapping, Stan.
Hey, thanks. I think I found a new career path.
Really? What is it? What is it?
It's rapping.
Oh, uh-oh. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go start rapping now.
Well, what makes you think you can be a rapper?
Well, I got street cred. I'm a hood. I'm down like a clown Charlie Brown. It's on like Donkey Kong. I'm a G.
Oh boy. Here we go. Oh boy.
Okay, now I've come up with some names, okay? Just in case I make it big, all right? Okay, listen to this. What do you think of this? Stanpak Shakur.
No. Stop. Oh God, stop.
Okay, how about Notorious Lee?
Oh boy, this is getting painful.
Okay, how about Stan Dog?
No. Stop it.
Okay, I know you'll like this one. Ice Lee.
Okay, this is getting too painful. Stop this and cut to the credits. All right, we're out of here. Bye.
Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step. And then again, let's do the Mario all together now. You got it. It's the Mario. Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step. And then again, let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that. What up, homies? Rappin' Stan here. Did you watch the movie that we reviewed? Do you agree or disagree with our review? Place a comment down in the comment section below. Hit the bell to subscribe and make sure you hit the like button. More likes means I can collaborate with Jay-Z and Dr. Dre on my new album coming out soon. Until next time, Excelsior!